Hey YouTube, it's league turnover, season turnover. So we're starting a new season. I usually do top teams. Instead of just doing top general and great league teams, I'm going to do top teams with Pokemon that are going to be very, very strong in this meta. And those are 5 Pokemon: Goodra, Empoleon, Feraligatr, Gallade, and Hippowdon. I think all these four plus Hippowdon are going to be extremely, extremely strong in this meta. If you go look just at PV Poke rankings, sorry, I was just looking up Water Pulse there. Water Pulse got a buff to 80 power and a decrease in energy cost. And I think PV Poke has updated the damage, but I don't know if we know the energy cost decrease yet. So it's tough to talk like about it. Right now, if it's the stats that are in PV Poke, it's not amazing. So I'm just going to ignore that for now. But for Alligator, Shadow's up at number 9 and the non-Shadow's at 16. You have Empoleon at 21, Gallade at 22, Goodra at 25, and then Hippowdon was at like 50-ish. Yeah, Shadow 52. So I think all these are very, very strong Pokemon to use in this meta. So let's build with them. Feraligatr is... I honestly thought it would have more X's on the top here. I guess where it lacks is... there's a couple things on this list where Claws just resisted, right? Your Mandibuzz there. Your... Lickitung, normal typings resist the claw, and dark typings. So that's why you're kind of loose to those. Swampert, it says you lose to Swampert. I've got to imagine that's bait dependent. There's no way that a Shadow Claw Hydro Cannon from a Feraligatr with better stats is going to lose to a Swampert. Swampert needs to land a probably beta Hydro and land an Earthquake. So I'm not worried about that one. But yeah, then there's just stuff on here. If you are going to run the moveset recommended is Ice Beam and Hydro Cannon. I said because of like Mantine and because of stuff like that, I would not run double like stuff that gets resisted by water Pokemon. So I would run Crunch, but it's up to you what you want to run. But it's got some good wins. Obviously, cover your grass weakness, cover your electric weakness. So to cover the grass weakness, I put in Registeel. And then I needed a third, so I put in Annihilape. The only sort of like thing that I'm a little worried about is Gligar. I mean, Feraligatr should dominate Gligar with the Hydro Cannons and Claws, but being weak to Annihilape, and I guess Annihilape, if you have Ice Punch, you have some coverage, but Registeel is just going to have a tough time only being able to throw Zap Cannons there. So that, and then Annihilape is just pretty, I think, generally safe. I think Annihilape I would consider one of the top safe swaps in this meta now. It is like pretty balanced and pretty strong. Empoleon still a huge increase, huge upgrade for sure. Empoleon still suffers from lack of bulk, and there's nothing you can really do about that. So with Empoleon, you're going to pick up some wins. Like the fact that you lose to Cress... I guess you're taking neutral because you're half water, but resisting the Psycho Cuts, taking neutral from non-stab from a non-attacking Pokemon, getting to the Hydro Cannons faster, and like you're still losing there. It just kind of shows you like its kind of limitations. Got some nice wins though, Carbink and Skarmory and stuff like that, but you got some losses too. I guess Lantern should see an uptick in everywhere. And speaking about an uptick in everywhere, I mentioned this in my video yesterday. Trevenant is going to be everywhere, and I think rightfully so. Just looking at this list, right? You're going to cover your Cress and Registeel, top 2 Pokemon ranked. You're going to cover all your waters, Swampert, Lantern. Feraligatr is a kind of close one because they are doing super effective with their Shadow Claws, so that's kind of a trickier one. But Azumarill, and Whiscash and stuff like that, right? So Trevenant should be the go-to grass to cover all these because you can also handle the steals if they pair it with like Skarmory and like Registeel. So that's why I think Trevenant's going to be everywhere. And then a third I put in was Carbink. I put in because like Trevenant is just weak to flyers and fire, but I guess you have Empoleon and Carbink. And then Carbink just has some bulk, which are kind of lacking on this team. Trevenant's like okay bulk, not really great, but not bad. But Empoleon's very, very classy, so you need a little bit of bulk with this team. If you're going to use Gallade, speaking about lack of bulk, and this is why you can see it paired with two very, very bulky Pokemon. Gallade is a glass cannon. Like, it's a true epitome of glass cannon in GBL. So it's going to be able to one-shot a lot of stuff. It's going to just go down a ton. You're going to see a lot of losses here. And I think it's because in the one shield, you're kind of in a tricky spot because you're just so glassy that if you, like, having the Leaf Blade for Swampert, you're going to one-shot. Having the Close Combat for Registeel, yeah, you're going to do great there. But a lot of the losses you're seeing on here is because you're just getting out-bulked by a lot of other Pokemon. So although on paper, when you just do the one shield, it looks rough, I'm not using it in the one shield. And this is the thing. If you're going to be using these Pokemon, you need to know their strengths and weaknesses. And Gallade is glassy but super hard hitting. So if you're going to use Gallade, you're going to use it with shield advantage, right? And that's how you use Gallade. I would not run. This is a one shield analysis just for team building sake, but you should not be using it in the one shield. You should be using it shields up. Shields up, this thing will dominate, and that's how you should use it. But it is very glassy, so you need bulk. So I paired it with Mandibuzz and Cresselia. You are half psychic, so you are going to take the super effective from Ghost for both Cresselia and Gallade. So if you don't want to do that, pick another Pokemon instead of Cresselia. But I did pair it with Mandibuzz to deal with that Ghost issue that you will see. Goodra is on paper exactly what Dragonair looks like. Safe, but not safe. Has some wins, has some losses, not overpowering. The thing is, like, the Dragon Breath damage, it has slightly higher stat product than Dragonair. It's got the same Dragon Breath damage. It's got the same Aqua Tail, but your secondary move takes longer to get to. So much like if you used Dragonair before, it's exactly the same play, how it's going to play the same style. You're using it for the Dragon Breath damage, using it for kind of a fast, spammy Aqua Tail, and then it's a little tankier, and then your second move is not as fast as Body Slam. So kind of use it the same way. Even against like Fairy stuff here, you still can hold up, just kind of like Dragonair does, right? You can hold up with a lot of stuff just with like its Dragon Breath damage. But to cover sort of Fairy weakness and Nice weakness and stuff like that, I put in Registeel, and then I put Superior in the back. Potentially, is Goodra a straight dragon here? Let me see. Or does it have a secondary typing? Goodra is a straight dragon. So this does make you double weak to ice. So keep that in mind. You're double weak to fire in the back, but I don't care about that because Stunfisk is a ground that has ground moves and rock moves. So fire is not really an issue for Stunfisk because you're going to kill fire too. So you're double weak to fire, but you're also double weak to ice. Again, Stunfisk with Rock Slide should be able to handle most ice. And then hopefully Goodra is like Dragonair, where even against ice, you can kind of just stay in and chip a bunch. And the last one is Hippowdon. If I can find it here. There it is. And again, on paper, not amazing. I think this is a Pokemon that's going to play way better than it looks on paper. I think with its stats and its charge moveset and now a decent fast move, I think it's going to have a lot of play. I think, again, it looks under... I don't think its strength is showing up on this one shield analysis. So I'm excited to play with this one. I do think it's going to be very strong. I will give you, again, my honest beyond the hype opinion on all these Pokemon to show you their strengths and weaknesses and everything. So stay tuned this entire week for that. Yeah, lots of losses here. So you got to cover all those losses. And what better way to do that than two Pokemon that are just extremely strong in this meta, Skarmory and Lickitung just stay swap, essentially, right? So those are the Pokemon that I would build for this meta. So it's going to basically be these 5 Pokemon, depending how much they lower the energy. And maybe they've already lowered the energy. If they've already lowered the energy for Water Pulse is not as good as I expect it to be, and the Pokemon with Water Pulse will not be as strong. If they lower the energy more, then you have potential bumps to like Araquanid, Mantine, and anything with that. But for right now, the stat products are not amazing on Water Pulse, so I'm hesitant on that. If you watched my video yesterday afternoon, I went over the other fast moves that got stronger, that got their stat products. So that's why I said Hippowdon is the big winner, because Sand Attack actually is a good fast move, but the other two fast moves are garbage. So they will have absolutely no bearing on any of those Pokemon that got those fast moves. So the 5 winners this season are the 5 that I just covered here. They should all enter the meta and be pretty strong, but it's just going to be last season's meta plus these 5 Pokemon, with, I think, maybe a decrease in fires if you're seeing more water and dragons, but an increase in grass, but primarily Trevenants, because Trevenant will handle all these water Pokemon. Plus, it'll deal with all like the steels and like Skarmory and Registeel and Cresselia and stuff like that that some people pair these with. So that is my expectation for the season, but we will play and we will adjust as we go on. Anyways, I may or may not do a top teams for Electric Cup. PB Poke doesn't even have Electric Cup rankings out. I can just go back. Yeah, you know what? I do have the rankings from last season's, like from a previous video. Don't play it. Please don't play it. Just play a Great League. But I'll put out a video in case you actually want to see what the meta looks like. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.